Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer on the Schnauzer family. If you're a judge student studying the miniature, standard, or giant schnauzers, well, buckle up. We're about to completely shift how you evaluate these incredible dogs in the ring. We're going way beyond the grooming to find the true, working animal underneath.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our syllabus. We're going to cover the working farm dog prototype, how that translates into 3 sizes with 1 spirit, coat function and color genetics, FCI versus AKC standards, and finally, judging beyond the haircut.
Now here is our core paradigm. When you step into the ring, you aren't just judging 3 different breeds that happen to look alike. No, you're really judging one continuous idea, one working prototype that's been deliberately scaled for different jobs.
All right, Section 1, the working farm dog prototype. This is the absolute foundation of the Schnauzer.
We really have to start our journey right here, with the original blueprint from which everything else was scaled. I'm talking about the standard Schnauzer, or middle Schnauzer. Basically, every modern history of the breed traces right back to this exact dog. This wire-haired pinscher of southern Germany was built to be a robust, square, harsh-coated farm dog. This medium-sized guy set the structural standard and that fearless, alert temperament for the whole family. And honestly, if you lose sight of this standard prototype, your judging of the other 2 sizes is going to immediately drift off course.
It all comes down to this. Form followed the function of a versatile medieval farmhand. I mean, they had to be square and sturdy for sure endurance, right? And they needed that harsh, dense coat and thick whiskers to protect them from vermin bites and the brutal Bavarian weather. So you're looking at a dog that is highly intelligent and playful with family, but inherently alert and protective by nature.
Moving right along to Section 2, 3 sizes, 1 spirit. Let's see how they scaled the prototype for specific jobs.
Just look at the deliberate engineering of this breed. The miniature, ranging from 12 to 14 inches, was packaged up for tighter spaces and house ratting. Then you have the giant, towering up to 27.5 inches. That size was scaled up for heavy-duty cattle driving and later on police and military work. But structurally, they literally share the exact same square spirit.
So here's a crucial point where we really need to myth bust. We have to kill this idea that these dogs belong to unrelated families. Look, when a judge looks at a miniature and sees a terrier, they instantly start looking for terrier traits, like a racy build or different head proportions. Or if they look at a giant, they might just see a generic black show dog. Absolutely not. They're all fundamentally schnauzers, meaning they're strong, stocky rather than slim, and completely fearless.
Okay, Section 3, coat function and color genetics. Because remember, this is a working garment, not just a haircut.
Notice how the standard only comes in 2 colors under FCI rules, pure black and pepper and salt. Meanwhile, the miniature actually has 4 recognized colors: black, pepper and salt, black and silver, and pure white. We'll compare these across registries in just a second, but keep this in mind. Regardless of the color, the pigmentation of the nose, lips, and eye rims absolutely must be deep black. No exceptions.
You know, true pepper and salt isn't just gray paint. It's actually a highly specific genetic banding on the individual hairs. You're looking for a combination of black hairs, white hairs, and crucially, white hairs banded with black. Now, maintaining this intense, banded color and that hard texture, that requires proper hand stripping. If the coat is just repeatedly clippered, it completely loses this banding. It becomes a faded, solid gray, and the texture ends up way too soft.
So as a judge, you simply cannot rely on your eyes alone when evaluating this coat. You've got to get in there and do the hand check. Part the coat. That outer hair should feel wiry, almost rope-like. And right underneath, you should find a softer, close undercoat. Honestly, if the outer coat feels soft to the touch and just lies flat without any resistance, the texture is wrong. It doesn't matter how beautifully the dog photographs, the texture is incorrect.
This brings us to Section 4, FCI versus AKC standards. Let's navigate some international ring rules.
This grouping split is actually a massive psychological factor. The FCI keeps all 3 sizes unified in Group 2 alongside pinschers. But over in the US, the AKC places the miniature in the terrier group and the other 2 sizes in the working group. And guys, this is exactly why some judges accidentally evaluate the American miniature like it's a terrier. It's a psychological trap you have to actively avoid. Remember, it's a scaled-down farm dog. It is not a long-legged British terrier.
Now, color allowances can be a total minefield for new judges. Let's take the white miniature, for example. A brilliant white miniature with a harsh coat and black pigment is perfectly valid and accepted in Europe under the FCI. But step into an AKC ring in the US, it's an absolute disqualification. On the flip side, the black and silver giant was recently granted separate CASIB status under the FCI. The takeaway here is pretty simple. You must know the specific rules of the ring you're standing in.
But beyond the written standard, there's also the unwritten culture. European rings, especially in the Nordics and Germany, really demand a natural, honest silhouette that emphasizes the hand-stripped working dog. American presentation, however, tends to feature these highly sculpted architectural lines with squared-off beards and super-pronounced furnishings. Here's the thing. Both presentation cultures produce correct and incorrect dogs. As an impartial judge, your job is to look right past that local styling tradition to evaluate the core animal underneath.
All right, final section, Section 5, Judging Beyond the Haircut. Let's talk about finding the truth in the ring.
So, this is the ultimate question every judge has to silently ask themselves when a beautifully groomed dog enters their ring. Is this a correct coat or just a correct haircut? A master groomer can scissor a dog into a perfect square, build a fake forechest out of leg furnishings, and hide a totally weak muzzle behind an elaborate beard. You absolutely cannot let a fancy haircut trick your hand. You have to, mentally and sometimes verbally, guide yourself to see right through all those furnishings to the sturdy, square bone structure underneath. You're feeling for a blunt wedge muzzle, a strong level back, and plenty of actual bone. The height at the withers really needs to nearly equal the body length. If the dog feels rangy or toyish, well, it just fails the basic breed type test.
You might be misled at the stack by clever scissoring, but movement is the great equalizer. An effortless, ground-covering trot is the ultimate truth-teller of proper working anatomy. A long body is going to show up in motion. A weak rear is definitely going to show up in motion. Remember, the coat doesn't move the bones move on their own. So you're looking for good reach in the front and strong drive from behind, with feet converging toward the center line as their speed increases.
So, you want to keep this mental checklist really active in your head. When you're weighing faults, always prioritize that fearless, reliable farm dog temperament and that square, robust frame above everything else. Shyness or viciousness, immediate dismissals. Never, ever let a flashy, over-sculpted haircut reward a fundamentally poor, structurally unsound dog. Always revert back to that original German prototype. We're going to end this explainer with a provocative thought to leave you pondering. Of the three sizes, which one would your household actually deserve? Not which one would you most enjoy showing off. These aren't just showpieces, right? They are intense, intelligent, and demanding working dogs. Truly understanding what each size was originally bred to do changes how you judge them and how you live with them. So keep that working spirit right in your mind's eye the next time you step into the center of the ring.